low and intense. So when I talk in Georgian, I'm much more animated than when I talk in English, which...
Say a few words in Georgian.
Გამარჯობათ, მე მქვია ქეთინო მელუა და ერთი არის ძალიან სასაცილო სიტყვა, ერთი შეგვიძლია ხაზი თქვა, რომელიც ქვია ბაყაყი წყალში ყიყინებს. But it's hard to get into. I need to be among Georgians to kind of fully...
If we translate this, do we get into trouble, what you just said?
No,
Okay.
You wouldn't get into trouble. It was, to be honest, that whole two people in different languages was pointed out to me by a fellow Georgian who also, has grown up in England and heard me in both, was with me in both situations, and she was like, God, you sound like two different people in the different languages.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about your new album. Pictures was released last month, and again sales are skyrocketing. An album that is at the same time, I feel, musically quite diverse, even including a reggae song, but still comes across as a whole, as an entity, as a unit. Can you tell us about the concept behind it?
Yeah, I mean, when me and Mike started making this album, it was different to the first two in the sense that there was no songs ready for it. Both the first two albums had songs that we'd written from previous projects, ongoingly written while touring, whereas Pictures, we had absolutely nothing. And that kind of gave it a fresh sort of viewpoint in the sense that we could come up with a concept. And I've always wanted to make a concept album. So we had this concept idea of making it a soundtrack to a fake Quentin Tarantino film. But what happened is we had 3 months to write, and as we wrote, some of the best songs, and some of the sort of better songs didn't really fit that concept. And rather than sort of throw those songs out, I kind of wanted to keep them. So we had to leave this concept behind. But what happened is that it still ended up influencing the album, and that's why there's a sort of loose theme of cinema and films that tie some of the songs together.
And yet, is it, I've read somewhere, the last project with Mike for the time being?
From a creative point of view, Mike is also my manager, and I'm also on his record label, and we're not stopping that. But creatively, we've made, in fact, the 3 albums that I've made so far have been 2 artists, me and Mike, and he's equally involved in the creative side of things. He produces, I sing, and then we share the writing credits. So there was always going to be a point where that would stop, where he'd kind of take a step back.
And you'd be more or less totally on your own feet?
Pretty much. Just, the reason for it was, I kind of felt like, we both felt like it was time for me to form my own identity as an artist, and we also both felt that 3 albums made together in that style was perfectly enough for now.
I'd like to pick out 3 songs to end our interview from Pictures. The opening song, Mary Pickford, which you described in an interview as a song about vanity, but very clearly it has also a very strong underlying connection to your own career, I feel, in as much as it is a dedication to artistic independence. It cites people like the Hollywood director Griffith, the actor Fairbanks, Charlie Chaplin, apart from Mary Pickford, who helped forming the first independent movie company in Hollywood, United Artists, or to put it in your lyrics, when the artists became united. So it is a declaration of independence in a way as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, definitely. And it's quite a fascinating little song because it sort of tells the history of the first sort of pioneering actors in Hollywood. And it's wonderful how they were the first to get together and form an independent film company. And that has the parallel with how I work, because I'm on an independent label and have stayed with an independent label for all 3 albums. And every time we go to a different country, it's with a local independent record company. And it makes it really nice.
Do you even think of going a step further? I mean, some artists have gone from majors to independent, then only the internet.
To be honest, no, because when I see how much hard work people around me need to do and how complicated it is to do promotion, organise a tour, get your music to the stores, I couldn't imagine anything worse, because I kind of want to just be left alone to do my music.
Yeah.
You need that sort of control as an artist, because you want to have control of your art and be able to make the choices in the music itself. But I mean, I don't want to be calling up retailers and shouting at them for not putting my albums in stores, and that's what these people have to do, and it's really hard work. So
well, with the internet, you wouldn't have to do that.
Well, yeah, but I love the idea of having a physical,
yeah.
sale, and it being in the shops and people having to go buy it and then getting the artwork and reading, the every musician that's played. Yeah, exactly, on the album.
The second song is the song that ends the album. A song by Leonard Cohen, In My Secret Life, which sounds in a way a bit like a promise for the things to come in your career, because everybody's wondering, what is a secret life? What will happen next? If you don't want to talk about your secret life, obviously, but at least about Leonard Cohen as a singer-songwriter.
No, I'd love to talk about my relationship with the song. To me, what that song was about is the fact that we always have an idea of who we are and who we want to be, and that sometimes conflicts with who we are in reality. Often, I mean, the way that applies to me is that when I was younger, I always wanted to, naively change the world, or not live in a materialistic society, not live in a consumerist-based society, not fit to a model of sort of beauty that society dictates is sort of confined, and those were the ideas I had about myself and who I wanted to be. But you grow up and actually you conform because it's easy, and I only realised that by singing this song. So it was incredible that Leonard
You discovered
Cohen,
more about yourself by singing this song.
And he's just incredible that he was able to do that.
Okay, last but not least, one of my favorite love songs on the album, What It Says on the Tin, which also seems to describe Katie Melua quite well. You always get what it says on the tin. Is this true? Do you feel like that?
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, it's very difficult to find people who are just like what they appear. I think often people have lots of different, characteristics and moods, and in various different situations, and sometimes develop different sort of kind of mindsets depending on where they are and who they're with. So I don't know if that would be quite right, but ultimately it's kind of, the song to me is more about fulfilling promises and not having any kind of, when you meet someone and you fall in love with them, and that never fades, that feeling never goes, because it's what you thought it was going to be. So that's what to me the song's about.
We're gonna hear your show and see your concert in just a second. What does it say on the tin of the concert for tonight?
The song, the concert's going to be all the 3 albums kind of blended into one big gig. There'll be lots of very intimate moments like the albums, but there'll be also very bigger sort of rockier moments where people can, sort of have fun with. And the band's amazing. I mean, we've got how many? We've got 6 of us on stage today, so it should be wicked.
Looking forward to it, and thank you for talking to us, Katie Melua.
Thanks a lot.